The Government's ambition for growth and job creation in the green economy, as well as a range of associated actions, are set out in the policy statement on delivering our green potential, which was published by my colleague, the Minister for Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation in November 2012. Publication of the statement followed on from a commitment under the Action Plan for Jobs 2012 and must also be seen in the context of the Government's new Sustainable Development Framework, Our Sustainable Future, which I published in June 2012. It's estimated that well over 10,000 extra jobs could be created in the green economy over the next number of years. A key element of the context of the emerging global green economy is the gradual emergence of new technologies and practices that are responding to the threat of climate change and the need for a significantly more efficient approach to using natural resources. In meeting our international climate commitments, greenhouse gas mitigation policy in the EU is being developed around early and cost-effective transition to a competitive low-carbon economy in 2050. In Ireland, policy is being developed on an equally progressive approach, as borne out both by the outline heads of the Climate Action and Low Carbon Development Bill and the ambitious policy initiative on sectoral mitigation road mapping for 2050, which I announced recently. Our commitment to environmental sustainability, including climate protection, will be fundamental to our success in shaping and engaging collectively and competitively in the emerging global green economy. The carbon tax is one of the key policy responses to support the transition to a low-carbon economy, and responsibility for the carbon tax rests with my colleague, Minister of Finance.
Deputy Pringle.
Thank you, Concorda. I'd like to thank the Minister for his response, but on the day, I suppose, that the carbon tax comes into play and that many low-income households are going to see significant increases in fuel to heat their houses. There may have been some consolation for them if the revenue generated from the carbon tax was going to be used to develop alternative green energies that could possibly alleviate and provide them with carbon-neutral energies to provide for home heating. And the fact is that the carbon tax is going into the central exchequer, and there is no ring fencing for the development of the green economy. And I think that's a very retrograde step that needs to be reversed, because if we should be looking to develop green energy, wood biomass for home heating, and converting large parts of the country to that which is carbon neutral, contributes to the green economy, and also would provide people with a carbon neutral and carbon tax free heating source for their houses. So I think that, Minister, what you should be doing is focusing on that and ring fencing the carbon tax for those developments. But unfortunately, the carbon tax is going into the central exchequer, and we see no benefit for that in terms of developing the green economy.
Minister.
Well, first of all, in terms of the overall taxation policy of the government, we want to ensure that we can limit taxation increases on labour. So if there are environmental taxes that can be deployed for the purpose of ensuring that we don't increase tax on labour and on work, I think that's a very noble aspiration in any case, and it's a reality to date during this government's term of office. But it's not true to say that no money goes into matters relating to the climate change agenda that you speak about. We have €35 million allocated for an energy efficiency fund. We have €9 million in research and development with the Department of Jobs in relation to new technologies along the lines you mentioned. So there are initiatives being taken. I agree with you that we could do more, and we are working on proposals at the moment on the energy efficiency side and on home improvements that may assist some of the measures that you advocated yourself towards between now and the end of the year. I would be very conscious of the fact that people will respond to some initiatives that are being taken, whether grant assistance or whether they're in a position to get lower energy costs in their homes arising from better insulation or better energy efficiency standards. So the carbon tax is a tax for the purposes of going into the central fund at the moment, but the government are equally conscious about the need to meet our climate change objectives on the energy side, and we will continue to invest some of that money in the context of proposals that I've just mentioned.
Deputy Pringle.
Minister, I think as Minister for the Environment, it would have been important to have the carbon tax ring fenced, and I think we see that what the carbon tax is a revenue generation vehicle rather than dealing with climate change or moving to carbon neutral technologies. There needs to be a lot more invested in it, and the government needs to move this along very quickly to make sure that we do change over and reach carbon neutral. But it seems from your response that the government itself has a vested interest, because the more carbon neutral home heating we provide, the less we generate in carbon tax, and so therefore you're not going to cut off your own source of revenue, and that's the the sad situation that many homeowners are facing?
Well, I don't agree with the Deputy whatsoever in relation to his last assertion. More has been done in the last year and a half in relation to developing our green economy potential than certainly has happened by my predecessors. We have certainly now set out a roadmap in relation to how jobs can be created in the green economy, how we can actually reduce the costs of business in relation to energy efficiency. We have a 4 million investment by 24 companies in recent times, which have got a return of €3.5 million immediately over a year in terms of the energy efficiency savings and water conservation savings that they've made. So those are examples in pilot schemes that we've been carrying out around the country that are a clear indication that people want to engage in the particular green economy and also in the energy efficiency agenda. And each minister in government will have to draw up a sectoral plan in relation to how they can meet our climate change objectives and targets by the end of this year. And that will, I'm sure, spark off new initiatives that they will have to take in order to meet those objectives.